This video's thumbnail made possible by Geeky Inc. Studios, because they made that awesome minifigure. Check them out. Last year in 2019, we all got visited by this fun little microscopic organism. Orgism? What's an orgism? Organism. Boy, I'm off to a good start already. Well, like most of you, when the world was locked down, I was bored. And we were all looking for things to do in our boredom. And hey, I'm a toy maker by trade, and why not try to have fun and bring my love for toy making into my free time, which I had a lot of. Now, I know there are very few YouTube channels out there, and the world desperately needs more. So, should I form one? Well, if I'm going to form one, why? I needed a good why. Well, for starters, I'm a collector. I have been collecting action figures my whole life. At some point, it changed from playing with action figures when I was a little kid to actually just collecting them and displaying them somewhere around junior high, high school, and I kind of never stopped. And if you're watching this video and on this channel, you're probably a collector. And it doesn't matter what you collect. People collect all sorts of things in this world. And whether it's good or bad, that doesn't matter because it brings you joy. And collecting is joy. And to say that there are a lot of YouTube channels already about collecting, well, the jar doth spill over. But it's interesting looking at all of the different channels on toys and toy collecting. They tend to fit into some broad categories. For example, there are the YouTube channels that are all about unboxing, meaning taking a toy, unpackaging it, and showing off what it looks like to all of your loyal followers in the hopes that toy companies will now send you more product. And there are a lot of unboxing channels. There's unboxing channels for kids, there's unboxing channels for adults. Well, I didn't want to do that type of channel. That's already pretty covered, and I don't think anyone really wants to hear me saying, oh, what do I think of this toy? Because everybody can do that. There are channels that review toys. Pixel Dan is one of my favorite toy reviewers. There's Toy Shiz. There's lots of channels that take toys that are out there and give opinions on what they are and why one might be better than the other. And then there's channels that are all about news and just letting people know what are the latest toys that are available, what's out there, what has changed, what sneak peeks, what leaks are happening. And of course, there's channels that sort of just ponder the toy industry and think about sort of the what if, or reflecting back on the history of toys and what has been and what could be. There's a lot of nostalgia there, and there's a lot of history to be discussed. And again, plenty of channels already do this. And then, of course, there's the channels dedicated to hating the toy industry, and I'm not going to go into any specific examples because, well, I want to keep it positive. I'm not here to spread any more hate than there already is. Believe me, I've been on the side of it and the receiving end. So, why start a YouTube channel myself? I felt that I could offer a perspective that was different from all the other toy channels. And really this came from the fact that not only was I a toy collector, but I had professional experience and could kind of pull back the curtain or, unzip the magic sky rainbow. I've worked in the toy industry. I've worked in the toy industry for almost 25 years. I've worked for big companies, I've worked for small companies. And as a collector myself, it's given me a very interesting perspective. And when I say a collector myself, I mean like a hardcore collector. I'm talking, Midnight Madness, Star Wars Episode 1 was on the cover of the local newspaper style. And yes, I've been playing with toys since I was a little kid. And getting to work on toy lines like Masters of the Universe, which you can see me balancing on my head here at age 7, well, I grew up and I still am enthralled with Masters of the Universe. So getting to work on a toy line that I'm actively a fan of not only has been a dream come true and something I'm very grateful for because I've had amazing experiences being in the toy industry, meeting amazing people, getting to go to amazing events, but it's all been really because I'm very passionate about toys. I love toys. I have always loved toys my whole life. And I feel so grateful to have been given the opportunity to work on product that I also actively collect. And that's very unique because I've found in the toy industry, there's not that many people that actually are active collectors out there. So the experience that I've had physically being in the toy industry, which is honestly just really another company that manufactures stuff, whether you're manufacturing toothpaste or you're manufacturing scented candles, it's kind of all the same. There's stockholders, there's inventory, there's balance sheets, there's accounts receivable. And I wanted to bring this perspective really to help understand the facts and the myths. Because when you look at all of the channels online about toys and toy collecting, the biggest thing I found were there were a lot of misconceptions. And really a lot of this comes from the fact that, well, collectors don't really have the information to eliminate these misconceptions because we're buying the product on the end of the production line, from the store, and we're not there to see, if you will, how the sausage is made, no pun intended. And I thought that that would give me a really great why, because if I could help explain the actual rationale and reason for so many of the decisions that lead to the product that we collect, well, maybe I could help eliminate the frustration. Because let's face it, collecting action figures is a frustrating hobby. Because while we enjoy it and we love what we do, there's so many times that we just want to smash our face through the computer screen. And I felt that I could be someone that could help, and I could put my knowledge and my passion for collecting to good use by creating a channel dedicated to eliminating the frustration by offering the truth. And a lot of the truth is things people not to say don't want to hear, but sort of like, no, that can't be true, like you're lying to us. But I've never done that. And let me give some examples of what I mean by this. So there's a lot of common misconceptions out there about how toys are made and the process. And a good one I found just this week, and I'm recording this in August 2021, is Hasbro just revealed some new figures from the upcoming Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. And a lot of fans are already saying, oh, this figure of Spider-Man is bad because it's not totally film accurate. It's actually incorrect to the way he actually looks in the movie. He does wear a lot of different suits, but this suit isn't right. And the reaction was, oh, why won't they just let Hasbro on the set so they could photograph this or sketch it or see what the suit looks like? Well, there you go. That is a perfect misconception because of course companies are allowed on the set and given reference. It's not a lack of reference that is why toys show up that don't reflect the movie. This Hulk busting out of the Hulkbuster armor from Endgame is a perfect example. This scene never happened, yet we have a toy of it. Or this Ant-Man figure from the very first Ant-Man movie had a costume that he didn't wear. I think he had his face revealed, his mouth for 10 seconds, but that's not the way he really looked in the movie. Or this color-changing Anakin Skywalker lightsaber from Episode 3. That didn't happen in the final cut. The lightsaber didn't change colors. The reason for all of this is not a lack of access, it's a time issue. It takes 3 years to go from concept to shelf. And when you have to do the design work, you're usually dealing with very early reference and very prelim concepts and design, not the actual what's happening on shelf. As toy fans, we think of ourselves as this huge crowd. And honestly, we tend to think of ourselves as the center of the universe. Hey, why not? I mean, I'm the center of my universe. You're probably the center of yours. Unique to the toy collecting hobby is we're all very, very emotionally connected to what we do. We're driven by a love of properties, a love of collecting, a love of acquisition. Our action figures in a lot of ways are like trophies sitting on our shelf and saying, I have a full set. In reality, and this is in another example, is that we are a tiny drop in the bucket, not only for the toy industry, but even within the action figure category as a total. Really, the sales are in preschool toys. And the thing about the internet is it skews perception, and it makes it look like action figure collectors, there's more of them, and they're louder than they really are. So let me give you an example. When I worked on the He-Man line at Mattel, one of my favorite sites, and still is He-Man.org. It's a great site for the He-Man property, for Masters of the Universe. And they have a ton of forums where people discuss everything they love about He-Man. Well, I asked the number crunchers in the analytics department to let me know how many individual users there were. There were thousands and thousands of posts in the course of a 30-day period, but in reality, there were fewer than 30 individual people posting. So all of these decisions we were making and all of this feedback we were getting from the online forums were really from 30 people. 29, I think, was the actual number. So all of that comes together as, why does this channel exist? Why do I exist? And the reason is as a fellow collector, I have been blessed with the opportunity to work in the toy industry. And I know that toy collecting is already a frustrating hobby as is. There's, we want this version of the figure, we want it now, we want it delivered exactly the way we want it delivered, and we want it as cheap as possible and in perfect condition. I wanted this channel to cut through the noise and to essentially try to, square the deal, if you will, and put us on a level playing field. We're going to be frustrated, but I wanted to at least provide information to eliminate the frustration that is based on false premises, if you will, just like, the concept of how many of us are there, or, why don't toy companies go to the movie sets? So, having a hobby is a wonderful, wonderful thing that should bring joy. And the why of this channel, well, there's always going to be haters out there, and there's going to be people that hate toy companies, hate reviewers, hate people talking about toys. That's fine. But if I could at least provide some information that was true and accurate and isn't something that most collectors have access to, hopefully this channel could be an asset and provide something for toy collectors you couldn't get elsewhere. I hope this was insightful and explained a little bit about why this channel was started, because having a why is very important, and I'm very passionate about that. Leave your comments below. Let me know any other thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next video.